Good morning. I was waiting patiently for you to wake up. Well, maybe not entirely patiently, but that is besides the point. What matters is that you are up. Anyways, I have plans for us today. You do know what today is, yes? Of course. I've been excited for Valentine's Day since New Year's. I already have everything set up in the kitchen, so please do hurry and get yourself together, alright? What are we doing? We are going to make chocolates together. Doesn't that sound fun? I bought everything we needed a few days ago. I had to force myself to wait so nothing would spoil. I have all of the bowls, spoons, and ingredients out on the counter, so go ahead and get dressed for today, and you can meet me there, okay? Unless you want me to help you get dressed this time. I know, we have been through this before. Besides, I am a bit too excited to drag this out, so I will leave you be. I will be in the kitchen waiting for you, dear. There you are. You look lovely as always. I hate to cover the clothes I bought for you, but it may be for the best if you wore an apron. I have an extra one here for you to wear. Here, turn around and I can tie the string in the back for you. There. Not too tight, is it? Good. Now, I have a recipe for us to use to make truffles. I even bought molds to pour the chocolate into. Aren't they cute? I thought you might like them. I decided to go with something simple to avoid making too much of a mess. You know, I have thought about having you cook with me for a while now. The thought always made my heart race a bit. Being able to share one of my hobbies with you, it made me really happy to think about. So I'm very pleased to have the occasion to try it. Do you like to cook? Well, regardless of whether you are good at it or not, I think this will be a fun little activity for the two of us to do for the morning. Especially because I get to guide you. Although I want to try to split the tasks between us, you have probably noticed that, well, I like to be in charge. So feel free to let me help you in any way that I can. Alright, darling? I have not been this antsy in quite a while, but you always have these sort of effects on me, so I should not be surprised. I suppose I should put my apron on as well. I apologize if yours does not seem very substantial. I actually made these a long time ago, back when I used to sew. I have not tried it in quite a while, as it took a little too much focus, and I did not do it for very long either. Once I started crocheting, I grew a lot more comfortable with that and gave up sewing. Holding sharp objects makes me very nervous, and I found myself getting pricked quite often because of it, so crochet needles being, dull and bigger was much better for me. I suppose if I had acquired a sewing machine, I may have had less trouble, but I was not devoted enough to bother. As a result, I have a few simple things that I sewed years ago that are still around, but not many. Anyhow, shall we get started? I suppose I should get the water boiling to melt the chocolate first. But I bought heavy cream to make ganache filling. I thought it would be a bit fancy this time. Have I made chocolates before? Well, I can tell you about that later. Oh, I also wanted to keep myself occupied while I was waiting for you to wake up, so I decided to make some buttercream for the filling as well. But I had to hold myself back a little so we could still do this together. So I put that aside for us to use later. Next is to mix the chocolate chips and heavy cream, so here's the bowl to put in the water. Do you want to mix it while it melts? You move so delicately, but I suppose that is for the best for something like this. Once it is done melting and it has been mixed well enough, we have to let it cool. So, while we wait for it to melt, how are you feeling this morning? Perhaps I should have been a bit more generous when it came to getting you ready, huh? My apologies for rushing you. I've been thinking about doing this with you for a while, so I was a bit eager to start. I've been up for a few hours now, actually. I have never really celebrated Valentine's Day before. I have only ever been in one other relationship, and did not exactly last long enough for us to get to this point. So, I have really been looking forward to this. Up until now, it was simply the 14th for me. Though I did start buying chocolates for Sherbet once he became part of the picture. But now, today has a bit more meaning, so I thought I would plan something fun for us to do. Plus, you get a treat at the end, so I figured it would be perfect. Are you done? Here, let me help you dry off the ball. Alright, I'll put this to the side with the buttercream for now. That way we can work on the shells while it cools. Now we can melt the rest to use for the shells of the truffles. I can mix that and give your wrist a break. It has been a minute since I have made any sweets. I used to do it all the time, but I guess I had more time on my hands then. See, I have a habit of using hobbies to distract myself whenever I feel the need to escape. Problem being, I tend to want to get away from myself quite a bit, so I get lost sometimes. I used to spend a good amount of time just crocheting, baking, and playing games with myself to keep myself from thinking too much. Now I have someone to spend time with, and it has helped a lot. I really do enjoy spending time with you. I've never truly felt this happy before, so it is really strange to know I'm even capable of feeling such a thing. I love you a lot, darling. So, being able to share something I enjoy with you just for fun I like it a lot. I hope you do as well. It was a shame, though, having a hobby like baking. Before Sherbet came around, I never really knew what to do with the sweets I made. I could never really bring myself to finish everything I baked. I do not eat as much as I likely should, so having a pastime like that was a bit inconvenient. Now I have someone to cook for, and that pleases me. Though I still have to make sure I limit how much I cook. I do not want to overwhelm you after all. It has been quite a while since I last did this. It almost feels new to me, honestly. Alright, that should be good. This next part can be a bit tricky though, so I'll be sure to help you. I will let this sit for a minute, then we can coat the inside of the molds to make shells. While we wait, can I confess something? You see, I did try this once before last year. Making chocolates for Valentine's Day, I mean. It went okay. They were fairly plain, given that I had never done it before, but overall they came out alright. I planned on giving them to you in secret. I thought about leaving them at your door, but I could not bring myself to do it. I was afraid, honestly. I did not want to scare you. The moment I stepped onto your yard, I just panicked. I had to leave. I ended up giving them to Sherbet without telling them who they were originally for. I thought about trying the year before, too, but just the thought of trying made me too nervous. I suppose I just outed myself a bit, huh? I guess that is a bit creepy, huh? Watching over you for so long. I wanted to confront you so much sooner. I was just so nervous about finally meeting you on a personal level and having you see what I would really like, especially given how my last relationship went. Look, I know I am not well. I know I am not healthy. And I suppose that is why I was so afraid to meet you in a way that was different from a normal doctor-patient relationship. Especially because that is what ended my last relationship. I just did not know what to do. But I finally stepped up and took a chance. And while that chance may have been risky, I am, well, glad I gained the confidence to do it. Now you are mine, and I do not have to worry. No, I suppose I still do have quite a lot to worry about. But that can wait. I do not want to ruin the mood any more than I already have. Anyways, let us try to work on the next step. Here is the bowl and the smaller spoon, so now we can make the shells. I can whip the ganache and buttercream a bit more while you do that. Are you having some trouble? This part is a bit difficult. There are a few different ways to do it, but I figured this would make the smallest mess. Let me help you. Here, let me guide your hands a bit, like this. Try not to rush, it will make more of a mess. You have to be careful with this part. Do your hands shake naturally? Mine do too, sometimes. I used to be like that all the time. It takes a lot of focus for me not to tremble. Your hands are warm to hold like this. I like it. Being able to lead you like this. Something about it makes me happy. Just a few more, okay? Then we will have a full set. Alright, there you go. I think we can call that done. Was I too close? My apologies. I could not help but get in your space to tease you a bit. Now that we are done with that, we have to let it cool so we can fill them. So, I guess we can talk a bit more while we wait. Actually, if I may, could I just, for a moment... I wanted to do that for a while. May I hold you? I really needed this. Just a minute to sink into you without any thoughts. I really do love you, you know. I know I say it a lot, and I do not want it to lose its significance, but I just cannot help but say it. I love you more than anything, dear. I couldn't be any happier with you. I'm so grateful to have you in my life, darling. I honestly do not know what I would do without you. So, thank you for staying, truly. I do not want to get too emotional, but you have saved me from doing some dangerous things to others and myself. I know it is not good to rely on you too much, but even so, I'm still grateful. Just being around you, resting, being in the same room as you always brings me so much joy. I actually feel calm, like I'm here. I exist. I still have a lot of problems I need to get through with myself. I have a lot of unaddressed conflicts that desperately need to be confronted. Even so, I continue to put it off out of fear. Maybe sometime soon I will express them to you. I want to come out of hiding at some point, but the consequences scare me. So it may be a while. I want to wait a little longer. But I will tell you. Until then, please bear with me. Anyways, I apologize for getting a bit upsetting towards the end there. I've been holding back for quite the time. I really am afraid to go into detail about how I see the world. But I am determined to face it at some point. If I ever truly want to be fixed, I have no choice. But, I think we can go ahead and fill the truffles now. That should be the easy part. We can separate them by shape and fill them based on that. Unless you wanted to make them a surprise and fill them at random. Alright, whichever you like, darling. Here's another spoon. Once we fill them all, we can use some of the leftover melted chocolate to stick the sides together and close them. There are quite a few, so I can help you. I will do the buttercream, you can do the ganache. How does that sound? Alright, now we can close them all. Somehow I do not feel as nervous making these as I did last time. Perhaps it is because I do not have to worry about giving them to you without being found out. Knowing that I can just feed them to you without fear of rejection, maybe. Would you like me to feed them to you when we are done? I'm not sure why. It might have to do with that sense of control I mentioned earlier. Being in charge. But I really like feeding you. No need to get embarrassed. Come here. Thank you for spending time with me this morning. I really appreciate you entertaining me this way. I doubt it is nearly as exciting for you as it is for me, but I'm still happy to have you to myself today. I can go ahead and rinse off the dishes and get everything cleaned up. Why don't you grab a bowl to put the truffles into, and you can wait in the living room for me. Then we can eat them together, okay? I will only be a minute. Let me untie your apron first. There you go. Alright, I will finish up here. Finally done. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. They do not look too bad. Better than my last ones. Then again, I did those by myself last time, so I suppose your help is to thank for that. Do you want to try the first one? Ah, sure, we can try them at the same time. Ready? Not bad. They have a nice texture to them. Very smooth and pleasing on the tongue. You did a good job, dear. But I want to feed you the next one, okay? Here, open up. You were so cute. How is it? They came out good, right? You want to feed me one? Sure, you can feed me. I do not mind. It is a little embarrassing, though. I was not expecting to be put on the spot like that. Right. I see why you always get flustered now. But there is something nice about being on the receiving end. Hey, I know this may feel a little awkward, but can I hold your hand? Just for a minute. I have never done so properly without gloves on, so I just kind of wanted to try it. They're still warm. Very soft, too. Sorry, I'm just a little... It is a simple gesture, but it still made my heart race a bit. Let me intertwine our fingers. You truly are special, do you know that? I cannot even put it into words. I love you so much, dear. I might be getting a bit carried away. My apologies. I can taste the chocolate on you. This really was the best way to start my day. Second to just waking up next to you. Hey, I know there is a lot I still have not told you, and I may have fibbed quite a bit to you, but I promise I will come clean at some point. Just give me time. I want to be truthful with you. I really do. I just need to prepare myself. Perhaps I can plan a day for the two of us to just talk for a while. Then I can explain myself a bit. I'm sorry to make you wait for me. If I'm completely honest, I have never opened up to someone since my last relationship. Since that went so poorly, I was afraid to do it again. There are things even Sherbet does not know about me. I'm just not ready to tell him. Maybe the reason I keep avoiding it is because I know that when I put it into words, I will be required to take action, and I'm just not ready to yet. But I can assure you I will, soon. Until then, I just want to get a bit more comfortable with you and learn to keep myself calmer. And I will tell you everything you need to know. But for now, I want a minute to lie down with you. Is that okay? I know you just got up a bit ago, but I really like lying next to you. Good. Thank you. Come here. We can finish the chocolates while we rest. Do you want me to feed them to you again? Only if you can do the same to me, huh? All right. I suppose that is a fair trade. But only for today, all right?